Well, I've come back out to the mountains today. I was stomping around the forest. I was heading up to a location that I quite often use in summer, and that was quite interesting up through there. Snow had drifted more than I thought, and there's a lot of trees down in there, and I was falling down holes. At one point I was waist deep in snow, so I figured, well, probably time to turn around and come back out of that area, because get stuck up in there in that kind of snow, you're really in trouble. But I come back down here. There's only a couple of foot of snow here, so this is good. Yeah, up in there, God, I don't know whether the wind must have just dumped more snow in. It could just be a wind dead spot or whatever, but oh my goodness. So I'm gonna get a campfire going. As always, got a pile of logs on the ground just to give it a break away from the ground. Once the fire gets going, it will just melt that out. And built a little bird's nest on the top with a cotton ball on there, and hey presto, we should be good. So that's the plan. Let's see if I can set this up over here. See this process? It's a little snowy, so let's see how this works. Little bird's nest in there, whole bunch of receipts, like I always like to put receipts in there. And let's see if we can get a cotton ball to land on there, spark land on the cotton ball, sorry, and away we go, just like that. Very easy. Right, let's get that out of the snow. The camera likes being in the snow. Get all that snow off there. There we go. Yes, doesn't like being buried in snow. Right, I'll just pay attention to this fire, get this going, get a few twigs and that on here, get it going, and I'll get back to you. So the object of today's exercise is just to come out, enjoy some quiet time out in the mountains, hopefully not fall down too many more holes. Yes, that was a big hole considering. As you can see, the wood is considerably wetter than when I was down here last time, and in the next few days we're supposed to get some more snow down through here. I didn't bring my shovel today because it hasn't snowed for a very long time. We've probably had a couple of weeks with no snow, and I figured a lot of this snow might have melted, but oops, I was wrong. Yeah, so this is going to be a slow start fire, I can tell. Yes, a lot of hissing going on in there, which is not necessarily a good thing. Either way, I have tea over there in my pack. I have, as always, I have everything I need to spend the night should I need to. Everything's in there, my tarps and all that kind of good stuff. Plenty of food and water. Pots, pans, I've got my stove in there and all that kind of good stuff. Alright, so this is going to get going. It is slowly warming through there, I can see, because the smoke was gone. Once the smoke's gone and you just got flames, you know you're onto a winner. I didn't cut too many big base logs today for a big fire, because I want to see how this one burns, because it's pretty wet. Yeah. And the wind also is threatening to get up later, so if the wind gets really, really high, I don't like having too many fires. And I will say again, whenever you have a fire, always make sure that as soon as you light it, it is your fire. Make sure you know how you're going to put it out, because you're responsible for it. So yeah, right, let's let that do its thing. Well, let me tell you, the bottom of my trousers absolutely soaked. I shall be getting closer to this fire in a minute once I've got some decent heat in it. I'll just put a bit of what's the name on there, fat wood on there, as you can see, to see the smoke coming off it. But I thought, yeah, I needed a bit of extra heat in there. There was like a knot on a piece of wood there. You could see it was all resin, so I thought I'd cut it off. See where that big pile of flame is at the back? That's what a big chunk of fat wood does. There's loads of it everywhere. I don't know why people buy that stuff, because if you know where to look, it's actually everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things that I think city people buy fat wood, real people don't. Yeah. So flask is out, feeder up, soaking wet legs, cup of tea, middle of the fire, job done. Yeah. Oh, that tastes so good too. It was a good day to come out here today. We just stomped around the forest. That snow was a little deep up in there. That was deeper than I was comfortable with. Trouble is, here you step over so many logs. Like one side of the log is ground level and the other side of the log is like 3 feet of snow. So yeah, I was literally waist deep in the snow at one point up in there, and I thought, nah, this is not a good place to be. But look at that fat wood there burning. Yeah. Let's see if I can get around there without actually burning myself. Woo. Right there where that black smoke is coming off there, that's pine resin. Yeah, that's fat wood. That's all the resin in the wood burning there. If you can find a piece of wood like that and stick it in the middle of the fire, you guarantee you get your fire going. Yeah. That's what a big chunk of fat wood does. Yeah. As you can see, I've laid the logs one way on the ground, the opposite way from my fire, and it's that way all the hot coals and that will fall down through there. And it just builds a really good base. Once the heat gets in there, you'll be surprised. All that snow will disappear. There's probably 4 to 6 inches of snow still under here. I didn't bring my shovel, so I had to scrape it out with my boot. As you can see, there's the depth of the snow over there. I had to dig quite a big hole with my boots to get that out of there. Woo. Yeah, this snow's a bit hard to walk through. Look at this crap. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to walk through that stuff, and just gets worse. The further I go into the forest here, the worse it gets. I think it just the wind changes up in there and it just dumps it all down through. Like I say, anytime you come out, make sure you got all your gear with you. I've got everything I need in there. Got a nice sausage roll in there too. I'm gonna have that in a minute. But for now, I will enjoy my tea. I will enjoy the fire, and oh dear, excuse me, get back in the moat and do some more video later. Now the only thing with having fat wood on the fire like that and a sausage roll is you really don't want to be cooking that on there. Yeah, you really don't want to be cooking on that. I don't know what's in that pine tar, but it ain't going to make my sausage roll taste any better, I can tell you that. So I'm sure that's probably not good for you, but that's why I like to bring these, because hot or cold they're good. It's starting to die down there a bit now. Starting to get a bit of heat in the big logs that I put underneath there. I can see them starting to glow a touch. It's a good place to be. People often ask, you know, why do you do this stuff? Well, people have been sitting around campfires for as long as we've been people, and it's a good way to unwind. Come out in the middle of nowhere, sit by a campfire, have something to eat, something to drink. It's good. Smoke in the face because I'm too close to the fire. That's always good. There we go. Yeah, that's burning good now. Don't think I'll need to worry too much. I think I've got enough heat in there now. I don't want a huge fire. I just need a fire that will just keep itself going. It's starting to melt down into the snow there now. If you look underneath those logs, you can see where it's melting down to the bottom of the riverbed. Yeah. That's what you want. You want a slow burning, sustainable fire. You don't want huge amounts of flames, you want lots of coals, and if you look in there, there's just piles and piles of coals in there. That's the advantage of lighting a fire this way. You get a decent fire, and you get lots and lots of heat, but you don't have huge amounts of flames. Flames are not good for cooking. They just consume the wood so fast. So a lot of people build a TP fire because it's the easiest fire to build, it's the easiest one to maintain, and people don't worry about it too much. They just kind of pile it all up and just keep piling wood on, which is great if you have an inexhaustible supply of wood already cut. But if you don't, this is the best way to actually do it. Good sized base logs in there. I mean, that big log in the bottom there, that's about 3 or 4 inches round, probably 4 inches, and that'll hold heat for a very long time. And all I have to do is just keep every now and again putting branches across the top here. But, that one fell out the back. That one in there. So did that one. Yeah. Lay your logs one way for your base logs. Lay your logs across them for your burning wood. And then just let the fire do its thing. Be surprised how long that will burn for. For absolutely blooming ages that way. And doesn't use that much wood. But the wind is beginning to get up in here. Let's see if I can catch the wind. I can hear it coming that way. I don't know how well the camera will pick that up. Here he comes. Oh, it sounds really cool. It's one of those great sounds of the forest. If I'm camping, there's a forest that's I'm going to say probably 4 or 5 kilometres from here, I guess, where the trees are much shorter and they're much younger and much shorter trees, and they blow around in the wind, but if one of those falls over on top of you, it's not likely to do you much damage. You can survive that. It's very easy to actually put up a shelter that will deflect. If you've got a pile of small trees, and there's a great big one there that's leaning right over, I fully expect that one to come down there at some stage. Hopefully not today. And I can tell you now, if you're between a whole bunch of small trees, you can always tie another decent sized tree across the top of where you built your shelter, but angle it downwards. So here it comes. Here comes the windlet. Ready? When I first got out in the wood today, the wind was up quite a bit like that, and then it started to die down, but I heard a big bang and a crash, so the tree came down somewhere, and it wasn't that far from where I was. I am keeping a close eye on them, because we are not very far away from some very large mountains. Literally, some of the mountains just up through that forest that way are 2,500, 3,000 metres. So the wind comes over the top of those, and when it flows down this side, it does this, which is good when we get the Chinook winds then. But these trees are 100, 120 feet tall, and when they're blown around like flags in the wind, it's not necessarily good. So, right, as you can see, got a really decent pile of hot coals in there now. That is a really good cooking fire now. I do have my pots and pans with me, but I made tea in that this morning, and I bought breakfast with me, so I don't actually need to cook anything today. So it's actually rather nice. I can just enjoy the fire, enjoy the wind, dodge the falling trees, and I should be good. Perfect. Well, certainly a nice view down the creek today. Very cool. Well, I kind of decided earlier that I'd let that fire die down a bit and let it do its thing. And then I decided, well, I haven't had enough campfire yet. I need more campfire. People forget why we sit around campfires. I mean, there's a lot of videos out there that show people how to build campfires. Best way to do it, build them up on platforms like I did earlier and all that good stuff. And you saw these great cooking videos and all that. And there's some really good videos out there. There's some not so good videos out there. The majority of them are pretty good. And but people always forget that sitting around a campfire is not just about cooking food or slices of bacon and ham and steaks and all that kind of stuff. Yes, it's nice, but people forget why we do it. Sitting around a campfire is something that we've done as humans for eons, literally right back to when we first discovered how to use fire. And it's very good for the physical health, but it's also very good for the mental health, because all the time you're sitting looking after a campfire, you're not doing anything else. You're just looking after the campfire, watching the sun cross the sky, and just enjoying the day, listening to the wind in the trees, which now thankfully has died down. That was the other reason I decided to put some more wood on it, because the wind has died down considerably. The sun is coming up. It's looking very nice down through there. Look at that, eh? The sun's coming up lovely over through there. Yeah, I'll take that. So, more wood on the fire. This is actually an incredibly relaxing thing to do. I don't know why more people don't do it. Learn how to do it safely, learn how to do it where you can. There are various restrictions and what have you in certain places on fires and what you can have and what you can't, but just make sure you know what the rules are for your particular area. And just go out and enjoy yourself. You don't have to do anything, just get a campfire going, keep an eye on it, make sure you can put it out, and just enjoy the day. Because it's not just about the physical enjoyment and coming out into the middle of nowhere, it's also about the mental health too, and people often forget that. Sitting around a campfire is just one of those things. It slows the day down, it slows the world down. The world has gotten crazy busy. I don't know why we've allowed the world to get as crazy busy as we have, but we have, so unfortunately now we have to live with it. So it's a good idea just to slow it down every now and again. Just let the pace of life slow right down. You actually feel better for it. Yeah, you don't feel better for a face full of smoke. I can tell you when the wind changes, that's not so good. But sitting by a campfire, enjoying it for the day, that is a good thing to do. More people should get out and do that. They really should. Right, I know that I have more tea left in my flask, so I'm going to have another cup of tea, and I know that I have some snacky bars in there too, which definitely have my name on them. So I'm going to have some snacky bars and watch this fire do its thing. Well, just move that big log across into the middle of the fire there, and I can't not come and have another cup of tea. And there's not much point in putting my feet up in front of the fire, because the fire's actually a considerable distance away. It's not chucking off much heat, but I have managed to dry out the bottom of my trousers there a little bit. It was literally damp right up to my knees, which was a real pain. However, oh yeah, have some tea. There we go. Have a bit of tea. All yours. Wind has come back a little bit. I've got some great coals in there now. Almost wishing I'd brought my little kettle with me. Yeah, I do have my pots in there, but I don't have any oatmeal and stuff with me, so. Oh dear. Oh, that is good. Yes. I just bought this pack with me today. I don't have my orange pack with me. This one has everything in it. This is my make sure you have it with your winter pack. This is got everything in here. First aid kit, you name it, it's in here. People often forget to bring stuff like that out. You're walking through a forest like this, I can tell you now, put this cap on here one-handed, it's not easy. So enjoy a picture of the sky for a second, because I'm just going to put that on. Right, just goes to prove that human beings are not very good at doing things one-handed. Enjoy the sky. There we go. Right, actually quite a nice shot up there. Look, quite like that. Yes, very nice. So I do have everything I need in there. I always make sure I do. It drives me nuts when I go out in the middle of nowhere and I find people that have got nothing with them whatsoever, and you're like, and the first thing you hear from them, I'm only out for a day hike. Yeah, well, that's how most disasters start, with that phrase, I'm only out for a day hike. But you look at how much this is melted down to the ground now. You can actually see rocks in the bottom there now. Let's see. Surprising how that melts down. That was only about actually 4 or 5 inches of snow under there. So yeah, but it does melt down through. And if you get the fire hot enough, it will just turns it all into nothing. It just melts into the ground. Job done. Yeah. Yes, absolutely amazing day for a campfire. Some of these trees are making some very unhealthy noises. Look at those over there. My nickname for this forest actually is Widowmaker Forest, because I can tell you now that this is not a forest I would ever camp in, ever. Yeah, I have seen people camping up through here. There are some campsites that I've come across as I head out through the mountains this way. If I head up to one of the places I like to go, I can actually use this as a shortcut. Well, I used to be able to, but now there's now actually way more trees down in here. It's a bit of a pain. It's actually better if I go further south and then head across. But up through here, this actually used to be one of my shortcut routes, because there was lots of cattle tracks up through here, and the cows are extremely good at bulldozing walkways through forests, and I'm sure they will again this year when they come back out. But I do find campsites out here every now and again, and you'll come across places like this where you find, oh look, sawdust. I wonder where that came from. Yeah, the little clues you find here and there. I actually found, not too far away from here, I actually found a whole stack of freshly cut firewood one time. It sat right by the side of the creek. Somebody had been camping down by the side of there's a reasonable sized creek in here. Somebody had been camping by the creek and cut up a whole bunch of firewood, but they'd left it stacked next to the creek. Well, around here, this creek, this piece that I'm stood in, I've seen this literally raging with water through here, and that wasn't that long ago. And we had a big rain event back in the summer, and it literally, this was all underwater all the way down through here. It was literally just a raging creek. But yeah, they stacked up a whole bunch of very nice firewood, which I'm sure got washed away in that flood, so that's not good. Right, there's a few logs there I just need to kick into the fire there just to make sure that they're good. I'm going to enjoy that wind. Listen to that. Isn't that a great sound? The crackle of the fire and the wind in the trees. Two things that more people should listen to. Right. I will move some of these around. Get that big log burnt up. Once I've burnt up that big log, I think I'll call it a day. Sun's coming round. We're only about mid-morning o'clock at the moment, so it's actually pretty good. Right. I will stop for the moment. And I'm going to go and sit back on my hat and enjoy the fire, what's left of it. And that is how campfire should be left. Completely burnt out, piled up with snow, stirred up, piled up with snow, stirred up again, just to make sure. There's absolutely stone cold in there now. A little bit of heat and a few of the rocks that are around the side there, but they'll very quickly cool down. Everything else just there, no sign of steam anywhere. I can put my hand in there. It's pretty yucky, but I can put my hand in there. Yeah, and that's how it should be left. Yeah, no chance of that doing anything bad. Right, time for me to get all my gear on and head out of here. Right, another good day wandering around. Have fun. Enjoy the days out in the forest.